How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. Do another first thoughts today. This is going to be Zirda, the Dawnwaker. If you guys enjoy these videos, comment down below. Let me know what you're going to do with Zirda. If you're going to build Zirda, if you're going to throw it in the deck. I'd love to hear from you guys. And like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to try to get 400 subscribers by the end of the week because it's been going up at that rate, and if I can hit that, that'd be sweet. Check me out on Twitch. Check me out on Patreon. Join us in Discord. If you join us on Patreon, you can join us in the Discord. All that stuff. And we're going to get into this. So, Zirda is actually really, really sweet for Boros Commanders, especially because of the fact that it is very, very different than most Boros Commanders. Most Boros Commanders tend to rely on combat. But Zirda here is actually almost straight up Boros ramp. It's really cool. And it does have a combat-based ability, being that it can make it so a creature can't block this turn, but I don't see that being heavily used, except for like one game plan, which actually seems pretty sweet doing with this deck. We'll get into that. But personally, just going to talk about some cool cards that work really well with Zirda, based on its first ability, being that artifacts or abilities that you activate cost 2 less, but can't be 0. So some cards I want to talk about here include like Gemstone Array. This lets you basically always have the correct color of mana you want to. It basically gives you a Chromatic Lantern. It doesn't tap for mana. So it's just nice to have. Endless Atlas and Arcane Encyclopedia both make a artifact that's 1 CMC and tapping it to draw a card, which is huge. Amazing for Boros because that's like the best possible card draw Boros can really get. Captivating Crew seems pretty cool in the deck. 2 mana to steal something. Horde Smelter Dragon, artifact removal for 2 mana. Pretty sweet. Plus it gets huge. You can use Staff of Domination, just do a bunch of shenanigans. Like, that can do a lot of different things. Staff of Domination's a very, very cool card. Similar to like Trading Posts, but Trading Posts actually doesn't do anything in this deck. Do anything different in this deck. Magerite Stone, good way to untap stuff because of the fact that your deck's going to be full of stuff with activated abilities, and so I'd assume that there's going to be creatures with tap abilities that you're going to want to untap and do again. So that seems like a strong card, and other untappers are all going to be very good in this deck. Terrain Generator. It's a land that basically, for 2 mana, you can ramp in Boros. That when Zirda's in play, which is huge. Thranton Portal Gateway or Quicksilver Amulet, so you can load the deck up with really big stuff and get it out for 2 mana instead of 4 because of Zirda, which is huge. You can use stuff like Heliod and just give stuff lifelink for 1 mana, which is pretty solid. Legion's Landing and Adanto, the First Fort. When you flip it, you can literally create tokens for 2 mana. I think it's 2 mana. It's tapping a Adanto and tapping another land. And you make a Dork, or a 1/1. It's pretty solid production there. Pretty good rate. It makes cycling cheaper, and cycling is a big part of the set. Bag of Holding gets significantly better, which is a nice little addition. It's more card draw at 1 mana for Boros, which is big. Blaring Recruiter. Pretty cool card that 1 mana, make a token. That's really sweet. Literally just, you can pay white and you get a dude. So depending on how much white mana you have that many dudes available to you. Conqueror's Galleon and Foothold, Galleon's Foothold, or Conqueror's Foothold, whatever it's called. That's a really cool card advantage card. Once it flips, it's a land that you can draw a discard, just straight up draw cards, and you can regrowth cards, which is crazy to have in Boros. Like those, regrowth is very, very much not. Well, I guess it's kind of a Boros thing. I mean, with recurring artifacts and stuff like that, but drawing cards is not. It's just a very strong card in the deck, and I think that should be an auto include in most of these decks. Dawn of Hope. Pretty sweet. It makes tokens of lifelink for 2 mana, and whenever you gain a life, you can draw a card for 1 mana. which is sweet. Then, like, all the costs that I'm going to be talking about are going to be with Zirda in play, because that's the reason they're in the deck, to be played with Zirda in play. Drog Cavalry. I think it's 2 mana. You can create tokens and gain life. So you make a spirit and you gain 2 life. That one's okay because it is 7 mana, so it's a lot of mana. But I mean, it's 2 mana with Quicksilver Amulet. So Dwarven Blastmaster and Dwarven Miner. These are pretty sweet. It ends up being red and tap and destroy a non-basic land. So pretty sweet in the deck. You can definitely go with some land destruction cards in this because Boros is very good at that. Eldrazi Displacer. That seems like a sweet card in the deck, being able to blink stuff for 1 mana. You can get so much value in this deck doing that. I mean, you can build your deck around that, around blink effects and stuff like that, because there's definitely other blink effects that you can make cheaper with Zirda. Felden, cool reanimation in mono red, so it fits into this deck, and it ends up being only 1 red and tapping him, so that's solid. Gauntlets of Light or Puppet Strings end up being 1 mana and tappers, so similar to Mageite Stone, just very strong in the deck because you're probably going to have creatures with tapping abilities. And we got Burnished Heart, which is one of the better ramp cards inside Boros, and it ends up being significantly better because instead of paying 3 mana to sacrifice it, you can pay 1 mana to sacrifice it. So it's just it's 4 mana, get Death Trigger and 2 lands out of your deck into play. It's pretty solid. Retrofitter Foundry, just another card that just does a lot and does a lot at a much better rate because of Zirda. And Zirda is an infinite combo in the command zone as well, because there's a few cards that just win the game outright with Zirda. Stuff like Basalt Monolith or Grim Monolith. These 2 cards in Zirda let you generate infinite mana because you tap them for mana, untap, and because of Zirda's ability that costs 2 less, so you net mana every time, and then you can dump all that mana into like a giant fireball or a comet storm, giant assimilating inferno, anything like that, and just outright win the game. And the thing is, with Boros, it's pretty easy to tutor for artifacts, and it's pretty easy to keep them in play. Like, there's a lot of red stuff with reanimating artifacts, like Goblin Engineer, which also tutors for it, both of them too. So that's like a key card in the deck. Then you got stuff like Duretti, whatever the red Duretti is, and you can use Enlightened Tutor and stuff similar to that to be able to fish them out. And that's pretty strong. It can end up being a pretty strong deck. Like, I wouldn't say it. I mean, off the bat, I wouldn't say it's a CDH worthy, but there is definitely a chance, and at least I can see this deck easily being like an 8 or 9 maybe. I think it's going to be a strong deck. And there's one other build that I want to talk about with this deck that seems like it could be a lot of fun, because equip abilities happen to be activated abilities that would get the 2 mana discount. So you can capitalize on that and actually just make it a Voltron style deck. And if you can give it vigilance, then you can also attack with it and make it so if they only have 1 blocker, that blocker can't block. So go nuts with that. It makes Sun Forger significantly better. It only costs 3 mana to fish out any instant. I'm pretty sure it's just instant cards with 3 or less CMC. But fishing out any one of those at any time, very, very powerful. So it really just seems like it could be good. I think Voltron could be a very fun strategy with it, even though it is very typical Boros. But, I mean, being able to equip stuff at 2 CMC less, Blackblade Reforged being played and equipped for 4 mana is really, really good. And I mean, yeah, there's Adrentum Armor. You can equip that for 4 instead of 6. Like, 2 mana is a pretty sizable discount, especially with stuff like that's 3 equip, 3 to equip. So it's only 1, like Dark Steel Plate. That's really good value right there. Makes all the swords cost 1 to equip. It can be very good. And by all swords, I obviously mean like Fire and Ice, Feast and Famine, and the rest of them. And so yeah, that's what I got for Zirda. I think Zirda is going to be pretty sweet. It's very different than most Boros commanders, but it also can act as a typical Boros commander. But I think it could be a very good value commander and very fun. Also, it's a Firefox, so it's at least better than Internet Explorer. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember, comment down below. Oh, also, wait, one last thing I want to talk about. This card is actually a really sweet index. I wanted to mention this really quickly. Specifically like Kenrith or Zakama. This card is an auto include. It is sweet in those decks. I wouldn't say Kenrith CDH, but just like a general Kenrith deck. Especially Zakama. I mean, it turns its abilities into literally Naturalize and literally Lightning Bolt. Like, it's so good. So, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember, comment down below what you're going to be doing with Zirda. If you pull a copy, what are you going to do with it? You're going to build a deck? You're going to throw it in a deck? I want to hear. And if you happen to already have a deck built, I would love to see the deck list. Just comment down below. If you really want to support the channel, check me out on Patreon. Check me out on Twitter. Patreon would be huge. But if you join us on Twitter, you can get... I occasionally do polls and stuff about like what I should do for the next video. Like I'll say, do you want to see a deck tech on... KNT, Chulane, Mersil, or Arcades, and do a poll. Whatever wins, I'll do a deck tech on. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to be able to help to choose what's going to end up on the channel, let your thoughts be seen, check out Twitter. Everything's linked down below, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.